Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I have Banana King for you today. One of the best overworld decks that ever existed. And let's dive in. So, in the front left corner you have Maxor, Protector of Param. When Maxor is dealt damage, it gains Maxor deals an additional 5 attack damage. He's unique and loyal, has Fire and Earth, and super broken. Mine's average, so max energy can be 60. I gave him Zerium Armor. If equipped creature would take more than 20 damage from an attack, it takes 20 damage instead. So this combo's pretty broken. Moving on, our Bade. He actually has 2 counters. Alrighty. Target attack deals 5 damage. This ability can only be used once per turn. Super broken. I mean, it counters Mapidians. It counters like every deck, really. I mean, think about it. 5 damage. Super broken utility. Great to have. And he even comes with water. I gave him Weightless Energy Vessel. Equipped creature may not be the target of music cards. You don't want him getting sniped. This is the support that you want around. And he's solid. I have Aparu in the top right. At the beginning of each turn, Aparu becomes a copy of target opposing creature. I mean, he's broken. He becomes an exact copy, minus the music counters. And in the hands of a big brain player, you can do incredible. I mean, I'm trying to do a Harry Potter quote here, but I forgot the words. Amazing things, okay? I mean, Aparu is just so broken. He has Bodil's Dagger. Equipped creature deals an additional 10 damage with non-elemental, non-discipline attacks. Alright. Loma, Desert Wanderer in the left middle. Defender, 2 counters, and a relevant ability. 65 energy, max. She's just strong. She has Bodil's Dagger because she's going to be defending your 3 supports here all the time. And you want her to have that 10 damage. Hoon Paltanine. When an opposing non-overworld creature loses a music counter, period. That means plays it, uses it as a cost, it falls off, super cool rain, period. When opposing non-overworld creature loses a music counter, heal 10 damage to target creature. So Hoon Palpatine is just super strong. She's interrupting chains non-stop, and your opponent has to play around her. And there's no drawback to you. You get to do whatever you want. So it's almost like your opponent heals you 10 every time they do something. An ability that costs music, you know what I mean? It's just super broken. Hoon Paltanine is here to stay, boys. I mean, this is a card that should be used in every loyal overworld deck if you could fit in a support. I gave her Bi-Mower Cycle. I'm not too worried about protecting her from music, and I'll get to that in a minute. Bi-Mower, staple card. You need to have this in every deck you play because that's the meta we're in. And super broken. I'm going to be doing a video on the meta and how to counter it, and some super strong cards that like people aren't using that could just stop all this nonsense. But I'll save that for the next video. So, Nazarin, Fluid Morpher's Foe. So he's the heart and engine of this deck. Like, you need him alive, don't let him die, period. He has Weightless Energy Vessel to protect him from music. I didn't give him a Zai because his wisdom is not that high. As you can see once my camera focuses here. His wisdom is 65. There we go. And I just felt like a Zai wasn't going to protect him from much. And I only have 2, so I don't want to be moving them around all the time. So I gave him a Weightless because I have like 12 of those. So yeah. Nazarin, Fluid Morpher's Foe. All his effects are just broken. They're all relevant. They're all used, and minus the last one, almost every single game. I mean, he's super broken. Heal or gain 5 energy. Gain, by the way. Gain is better than heal. Gain 5 energy for 1, or dispel target Marillion music for 2, and he starts with 3. So you automatically get to use both his effects right in the beginning. I mean, broken. This card for sure should have started at 0. For sure. But I mean, hindsight is a B, right? So, yeah. Moving on, Heptagon Hail. This attack right here has to be in the deck. I mean, that's the whole reason that you're running Nazarin, Fluid Morpher's Foe. Each creature controlled by an opponent gains a music counter. It does 35 damage. It's a 4 build. Not very ideal at all to be giving your opponent music counters, except when if you play Heptagon Hail, your Nazarin here gains 6 counters if they still have 6 creatures. And if you killed one already, you gain 5 counters. So I mean, look at that, you have 8 counters. Talk about broken. I mean, 8 times 5, you can do the math. You heal a crap ton of energy there. So anyways, moving on. Heptagon Hail, you need to have 2. I'll get to that in a minute. I want to do a full circle before I start talking about combos and things and utilities. Locations, I'm not going to show you guys all 10. I've been thinking about it, and you know, a lot of players are just going to pretty much copy paste this. And I just kind of want to leave some of it up to you because everybody's different. Everybody dislikes and likes different things. Some people feel more comfortable playing against Fluid Morphers. Some people hate it. Some people feel more comfortable playing against Rapidians. Some people hate it. You get it. Some people can beat the crap out of Underworld but lose to Overworld all the time. So I just wanted to leave room for you guys to use your imaginations, think about what you don't like, and implement it. For the most part, though, this is just some of what I run in this location deck. I'm using a Zai Mind Scrying Chamber. What this does is creatures lose all elemental types. You don't rely on your elements for anything in this deck because you're using a Bodil's attack deck, so it doesn't affect you, but it could ruin your opponent, especially if their attack deck is not diverse enough. Okay, and I'll be making a video showing you guys all my attack decks and giving you guys explanations for everything so you guys could be better players. Because, you know, at the end of the day, the PBB here, pro player base, that's what I'm going to call you guys. You guys need to know all this stuff. A Foothold, Assault Trench, engage creatures of the same tribe. Pretty much all your creatures do 5 damage as long as you're being loyal. It applies to them as well. But you shouldn't worry about them too much because, you know, you have Arbade, you have Zerum Armor. So this card's pretty much just going to benefit you. And since you're using Bodils, it's an extra 5. So that's nice. I got Newman Voidland, again, to emphasize, you know, that I'm stripping your elements here because it doesn't hurt me, but it'll destroy you, right? So at the beginning of combat, we lose all elemental types and we gain 10 energy for each one. So Maxor gains 20 energy, putting him at 75. And if I had a max energy one, it would put him at 80. And Aparu, whatever he copies, he'll gain the energy off of whatever he lost. And Lomo will gain 10. So I mean, you see, it's not bad. And it destroys your opponent. That's what you want. You want cards that don't hurt you, but kill your opponent. So yeah, the other 6 I left up to you guys because, you know, I want to see some creativity, you know what I mean? When I see you guys out there and you guys are playing these decks, I want to see a little bit of you in it. So yeah, the other 6 are up to you guys. I got 4 musics to show you guys here for Overworld. Now this is a goodie here because I'm going to let you guys in on some incredible tech. Okay, so of course you have your famous Rhyme of the Reckless. This is a staple, period. I'm only showing 1 here, but this deck definitely runs 2. You pretty much mirror force your opponent, and I mean, it's amazing. It definitely helps you catch up, and you could definitely use their attacks against them, especially in this deck. Refrain of Denial. For 2, it's a hard negation. Super strong, super broken card. I have 1 in here. Interlude of Interruption. I mean, this card is MVP right here all day long. Negate target music unless the casting creature of that music pays an additional music. So, say they're using... What's a quick example? Okay, so say they're using Aparu, right? And he casts Rhyme of the Reckless for 1. So if you use Interlude of Interruption, the only way he could stop that is if Aparu could fork over another counter. But since he only had 1, it's negated. So you see this card here is super powerful. A good opponent, you know, will be on his toes and kind of be ready for this and will know who to like cast his musics with to prevent this. But not everybody's paying attention. So interlude is rude. It's so rude, so strong. Here it is, guys. You owe me for this one. Song of Stasis. I know I mentioned this like in one of the first videos I did, but this card right here is MVP. So strong. And everyone slept on it. Everyone. This card is a killer right here. Too freaking powerful. Until the end of the turn, target creature cannot move. Okay. So, there's this ban list, right, that the community made because the game died and they wanted to keep things going. They wanted to keep it diverse, right? So they banned like Buy Mower and a bunch of that other, and like Element Strip, because like they said they couldn't handle it and this and that. Well, Song of Stasis, I mean, oh my gosh. Okay, so here's a scenario. I pop Buy Mower, targeting Maxor. Do you respond? I chain Song of Stasis, targeting Maxor. Do you respond? Okay, so they popped their Buy Mower, they used it, they targeted their best guy, and they were about to like try and fly in your back row and kill it, right? And everybody cries, oh, Buy Mower's so broken. You stasis them. You took away Buy Mower, and you stopped their best guy from moving, and you stasis them. So if that happened to this deck, the best I could do is send Aparu, who already copied somebody, by the way. So I'll get to that in a minute, but you'd have to send someone else. So you can't fight with Max or you can't move. I mean, broken. This card is broken. All you do is chain to Buy Mower. Pop Buy Mower targeting who? Okay. Whoever you target, I play Song of Stasis targeting them. When this resolves, he can't move. So, I mean, you nullify Buy Mower. So, round of applause, everybody. Big brain, you know, we got the PBB here. Pro player base. Use this card, Song of Stasis. Super underrated, super good, and it's just a rare. Pick this up. Moving on. Oh shit. Yeah, I cussed. Bring that back. One more thing. So everybody who cries about Zamul's broken. I agree with you. He is very broken, but he's only broken if he can move. If you cast Song of Stasis on Zamul, guess what? Zamul can't move, so you don't get broken Zamul effect. So guess what? They have to fight you with something else, and that gives you a chance. Period. Any pro player can see this is a good card. Period. Because Zamul locks it down, but if Zamul can't fight, then you can respond with your Mujiks, and you have a chance to fight back. Big brain. Use Song of Stasis. At least one. Card is too good for a class that's already too good. Use it. Coming back to Aparu because I want to spend like 5 minutes on him. This guy is freaking amazing. He becomes an exact copy, minus the Mujic counters, of any creature on your opponent's side as long as it's targetable. Okay, so like you can't copy Iflar because he's untargetable, so you can't target him to become him, okay? But if you're big brain, which is, you know, I love saying that, if you're a big brain player, you'll copy, say you're playing against Danians, you copy the queen. Guess what? Everyone around Aparu now has defender for no reason. I mean, yeah, you don't want Hoon or Arbe defending, but these are things you have to think about. And now guess what? Now that it's queen, if you kill their monster, which you most likely will, Aparu will gain a counter because he's still queen until the end of the turn. So he'll gain a counter for that monster dying, and then I mean, he can gain counters while he's queen, okay? And then he has Bodil's Dagger, so he could still fight. He is powerful. Say you're playing against another Overworld deck, right? And say they're using elements, or say they're using no element, which is a deck I'll show you guys. My buddy has it made. I just need to borrow it from him. Aparu is super fucking dangerous. I mean, if you're playing Mirror Match, Aparu can copy their Nazarin And now you have two Nazarin Fluidmorpher foes. And then when you play Heptagon Hail, both of them will gain counters. I mean, super broken. You're playing against Underworld. Copy Zamul. My Aparu copies Zamul. Now my Zamul attacks and he has Bodil's Dagger. I mean, now they can't do anything and I have all my effects. Now I have our Bait can do 5, or make your attack do 5. I have Hoon protecting me, and I have Nazarin in the background. Aparu is the business. This guy is broken, okay? Copy Taki Knight, give him range and swift, and he could fly to your opponent's back row. I mean, there are possibilities here that like no one's seen. It's amazing. It's amazing. You can copy all kinds of things, all kinds of utilities from your opponent's side. You can copy their fighters. I mean, this guy is the business. The business. Super broken. Things you should know. Like every deck, and like I always say, this deck is not 100% foolproof and does not win 100% of the time. No such thing in Chaotic. Because your opponent's hand and their tech and whatever musics they're playing may be just for you. Like, you never know. It just depends on the player and the players you're with. But, I mean, the key thing here is you want 2 Heptagon Hails because this is the heart and soul of the deck. You need Nazarin to benefit from the Heptagon Hails, okay? So these 3 cards, staples. There you go. Build around this, okay? If you don't have Maxor, sorry, use something else. If you don't have Arbade, same thing, put another fighter here, okay? Then you can have 4 fighters. It's not bad. And honestly, that may even benefit you in a lot of situations. Okay. You don't have a Paru, I mean, use Ivina or something. I mean, there's cards. Use a Tartarek. You know, I know I'm naming nothing but ultras here, but you get what I'm saying. Use something else. Be creative, all right? Pick something that you think would be good against, you know, something you could see, all right? Loma, you definitely need a defender here, especially if you're running the 3 support version like me. Yeah, you need the defender there in the middle, otherwise you cannot put our bait up there, okay? Formation matters, okay? Formation matters. Strategy is key. I've said it plenty of times. All right, my PvPs here. So all the pro player base knows that if you don't have a character with defender, you need to use Bronze Flight, okay? So if you don't have Loma here, you need to put someone there and you need to give them Bronze Flight so that they can defend against range and swift. And your attack deck should pretty much be Bodil's Dagger attack deck. So Primal Smash will do 30, Karna Windows 30, Marksman's Prep, you want 2 of these, super good card. Reverberate, and like I said, you just want Bodil's Daggers cards, you know. Outsmart, super good. I can use it in here because it's Wisdom against Speed, and you're running Overworld. So, you know, when you're building your attack deck, just use your brain. Symmetry Slam, I mean, it's all right, you know. So, yeah, use your creativity. Iron Balls, it's one of my favorite cards. I'm going to be making a video with this one in there too. Shuts down all kinds of things, you know. If they can only play generic, and then that means the game comes down to abilities, okay? So if you play this and it resolves, the game comes down to abilities, and your abilities are probably all better than their abilities. So you kind of see what happens there. So yeah, guys, that's it. Here it is, Banana King, super OP. If I had to think of your most favorable matchup, I couldn't come up with one. I guess I would say like if you were playing against Fluid Morphers, because the Nazarin is just gonna laugh all day long. He's gonna negate everything they try and do, and he's gonna gain like a million counters, and they will never kill Maxor. So I mean, that's your best matchup. Your worst matchups, you have like a 50-50 against Snipe because it depends on what location they get, who goes first, what kind of snipe it is. So like if it's a mole, then you definitely need to go first. But all is not lost because like I said, even if you are playing against a mole, Song of Saces So use Song of Stasis on the Zamul. Give yourself a shot, okay? Use Song of Stasis on Zamul. Stall until you get Iron Bowls, and just give yourself a shot. Give yourself a shot at the game. That's what this is about. Zero Armor makes Maxor hard to kill. Arbade makes Maxor hard to kill. Aparu is a headache for your opponent. If you're not copying their tech, you're copying their fighters, and guess what? If my Aparu copies their Maxor, and then I fight against their Maxor can't win any challenges against me because we have the same exact stats, okay? Be big brain, alright? That's what this is about. Alright? If you copy their best fighter and then fight against it, he can't win any challenges on you. Well, the best he could hope for is like stat checks, and if he still has the elements, that, okay? But yeah. And then Aparu is also good because say they have a location and it's like only Mepidians get this effect. Well, if you copy a Mepidian, then you are a Mepidian, so you'll get the same effect. So Aparu's super dangerous. Super dangerous, super good. Big brain card for sure. I expect to see a lot of him around. Let's see, cost of the deck. Unfortunately, if you weren't already picking up things for this, you're going to have a very hard time. Nazarins, I mean, it depends. You can get like a bad one at 20 energy for like 40. You can get an average one for like 40, 50. And then max energy, it looks like you're paying like 70. Loma, she's like a $50, $60 card, especially if she's max energy. There's just no contesting that. She's solid. Hoon Paltanine, I'd say like $5. $5. Aparu, he's like 280 to like 300 right now. That's right now. We'll see as time changes. But the last one I sold online went for like 350, and then the one after that went for like 280, I believe. So if you want to do this exact one, I would get on it. Arbade, he's like $2-3, and then Maxor, he's anywhere from like 50 to 100, depending on the card. So like if it's good stats and max energy, you're gonna pay 120. If it's max energy but like okay stats, you're gonna pay like 100. And then if it's average, you're looking at like 70 to 60, and 60 on like a rare day. I mean, super rare day. Honestly, you're gonna pay like 80 for like an average one. And Heptagon Hail, I have the gold edition. I paid like $3 each. Right now they spiked a little bit, so they're like at 15, but you can still find them for like super cheap. So get yourself a Heptagon Hail. I will be upgrading these to the original Ultra, but I kind of do like this one because like the gems on it shine, so that's pretty cool. You need 2 of these, so don't play this deck with 1, please. Okay, you have to have 2. A little tips for my players coming into the game who like don't have, you know, the Karna wins and the Primal Smashes and things like Outsmart and Symmetry Slam, okay? The best you can do is get a Primal, get the Heptagon Hails, and then build the rest of your attack deck like stat-based, okay? Not element, but stat-based. And so you're probably going to go with Courage and Wisdom. I think that would help you a lot if you went in that direction. If you couldn't afford like the exact Boto's Dagger deck, and let's be real, you kind of want to get things and you kind of want to get decks that can like be mixed or like used together. So this is you're definitely you're out on a limb here if you're trying to start the game with this deck, because a lot of these cards are not universal. Okay, so and I don't mean so much the monsters, but I mean like the attacks, the locations you're using. That's pretty much just for this deck, okay? Unless you have like the past creatures and can build Ursa's Dagger, you know, like. But then your collection's pretty much far along. But anyways, back to the point. This isn't like a good starter deck because you typically want to buy decks, like I said, that you can change it from this deck to that deck. So like if you're playing Danians, you'd want to be able to go from like Nequin to Umquad to Lore. I mean, you want to be able to switch your deck versions around, right? You want to have like more than one deck you can play. And this one right here is like super expensive. So this is probably like maybe your second or third deck, you know, when you want like a big time deck and you want to win some tournaments. But it's not going to be cheap. Just understand that. So there's a lot of gold in here, especially Aparu. And at least, some good news for you guys. At least, any Aparu you buy is good. Because no matter what, at the beginning of the turn, he becomes something else. So his stats never matter. There's literally like 3 or 4 things that could possibly make you use him as he is. And those situations are like super rare. Super rare. I'm not going to go into them because, you know, I don't want to put them out there because then it'll occur all the time. But yeah, super solid deck. Like I said, if you can't afford the exact attack deck, you need Heptagon Hail and attacks that work with your lineup, okay? And if you don't have Defender, you definitely don't want to put Arbade in the front middle, okay? You'd want to put them all in the back there and do the best you could. But should always be running Bronze Flight if you don't have Defender. Super strong, and it's big brain. So alright, pro player base. Hope you guys continue to grow with me. And like and subscribe. And I'll be getting a mic and a setup and everything soon. You know, I got some of you guys like, we want to see your face. Oh, my goodness. I'll show you my face. Master Chief meme, if any of you guys are old enough to know about that. But, yeah, okay. That's enough. So, yeah, Banana King deck. Super fun, super hard to beat. And it actually does pretty decent against Snipe. I beat a Snipe deck, and it was made to Snipe. So, I mean, just think about that. Alright, guys, as always, be smart. And keep growing.